he will have a shot, it appears, at the heavyweight title. The undefeated heavyweight has signed to fight in the HBO title unification series, and he'll face Trevor Berbick, the WBC title holder, probably sometime this fall. And if Tyson should beat Berbick, he would become the youngest man in history ever to win the heavyweight championship.
Berbick was the last person to fight Ali, and he hurt Ali very bad. When you fought him, was there any revenge?
100%, yes, no doubt about it. I said, I can't wait till I get him. Him and Larry Holmes.
The fight brought out all the A-listers. And Tony Danza. I laugh at Tony Danza. I'm super creepy right there. In the morning, I'm making waffles.
So now the moment of truth is not far off. This will be the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. He could go into the record books tonight if he can capture the title from the reigning champ, Trevor Berbick. This is what Mike Tyson has trained his whole life for. This is what Cus D'Amato and Jimmy Jacobs trained this man for.
I believe he will be the youngest heavyweight champion of all time. And if he remains dedicated, interested, and without any distractions, I believe that eventually he'll go down in history as the greatest heavyweight champion ever.
Cus was always talking about the situation and saying that if he really took a deep interest in it, he would be champ of the world. And he said, no problem, he'll be champ.
There is electricity in the crowd. I've got goosebumps. On the line, the WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world.
It would happen to any fighter, because at this particular point I was throwing, what can I say, hydrogen bombs. Every punch was with murderous intention.
You talk about being on the stage on a moment and capturing that moment?
Listen, not using the gun of the bombs. Round one, a good round one for Mike Tyson. Seven coming in. This is round two. The WBC Heavyweight Championship of the world. Trevor Berbick and Mike Tyson.
That was the coming out. That was to start going on Broadway and say, I am a star. Look at me.
And he's down. He'll have to take the standing 8 count as he stands right up the count for 4.
He absolutely destroyed him. He knocked him all over the ring. It was over in 2 rounds, and at that time you thought, this guy is going to be the champion for a decade or more. Tyson seized the title in spectacular fashion.
He goes down. He should be able to get up from this. His legs may be shut down as Trevor Berbick falls back in room.
Mike is a boy prodigy. He's 20 years old. He is quite an incredible force in the heavyweight division, but he's just a boy. In a devastating second-round knockout, Mike Tyson, age 20, became the youngest heavyweight champion in boxing history. His managers, cornermen, and friends ran to congratulate him. Tyson kissed Jim Jacobs.
Jimmy Jacobs in there. He'll take no for working him.
At 20, he was the youngest heavyweight champion in history.
If it wasn't for Cus, this would never happen. The idea I'm the youngest champ in the world. The idea that it'll live forever. The record I think will never be broken. And it's what I can say. He's probably up there right now saying, you did a lot of mistakes. You did a lot of mistakes.
A Walcott said before this fight, if I can't beat this bum, take my name off the record books.
September 1952, Philadelphia. Experts rate the Walcott fight as one of the most exciting bouts in ring history.
For the heavyweight championship of the world, weighing 184 pounds, the challenger, Rocky Marciano. Weighing 196 pounds, the heavyweight champion, Jersey Joe Walcott.
Well, Rocky, the boxing blockbuster. Some of the fight experts say he's another Jack Dempsey.
Jersey Joe dominated the early action, smashing Marciano with relentless combinations.
Rocky Marciano is one of the toughest men ever to fight.
Many fighters fold when they're first tested, when they're cut and dropped. Rocky grew tougher.
But he was one tough guy. He was 189 pounds.
It was the first knockdown of Rocky's career.
Marciano is now on the floor. The way he came back and the way he fought people. First time that Marciano ever had been put on the canvas, took a 5 and came up, and from that time on, they have fought steadily and hard.
But he liked it. He went beyond courage, and he truly liked it. He liked the sport. He liked getting hit, and he liked hitting.
Absorbing Walcott's best shots, eating punches that ended other fighters.
The consensus at this point was Rocky's got to knock him out to win. All the officials voted for Walcott this round. Twisted Walcott's face in the pudding.
Relentless attack.
And now we're in round 13. At this stage, J.C. Joe Walcott is leading on all 3 scorecards. 7 rounds to 5. Rocky Marciano has to knock out J.C. Joe Walcott to win this fight, and his corner has told him so.
And he had a punch from hell called the Suzy Q with his right hand.
One destructive blow changed the course of heavyweight history.
Rocky feigned a left, then delivered a sledgehammer right. The Suzy Q.
6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and out! New heavyweight champion of the world, Rocky Marciano!
Rocky Marciano has come from almost certain defeat to knock out Joe Walcott.
And the new heavyweight champion of the world, Rocky Marciano!
When it ended, fight fans had witnessed one of the greatest slugfests in history.
The Brockton Blockbuster was now the heavyweight champion of the world.
I hit him with plenty of good punches, and he took them very good. Rolled with most of them. He's a very smart fighter, a very great champion. I only hope that I could be as good as him.
By 1980, the boxing world had 2 welterweight title holders, Thomas the Hitman Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard.
Tom Hearns, is 6'3", 6'4", some say 6'5". I mean, he's tall, no question about it. Long arms, speed, and power.
The fight between Thomas Hearns and Sugar Ray Leonard, number 1, was an emotional fight that was probably, at that time, the biggest fight in history.
Rarely these days do the best fighters fight one another in their primes.
Good evening, and a very warm welcome to International Sports Special, which highlights a significant milestone in the history of boxing, the richest fight ever staged, Sugar Ray Leonard versus Tommy Hearns, for the undisputed welterweight championship of the world.
The best versus the best.
No fight since the Ali Frazier confrontation 10 years ago has created such a furore there. Now, it's going to be the richest fight in boxing history. So, the WBC welterweight champion Sugar Ray Leonard has entered the ring.
This was everything boxing fans dreamed.
Hearns loading up, looking to dynamite the opponent.
Is now given a gift of 2 rounds to Tommy Hearns.
But Hearns is back at it. Hearns' jab is bothering Leonard. There's no question about it.
A back and forth affair between 2 of the greatest to ever do it.
Leonard taking a beating here. He'll do it by waving the right hand that way.
Well, this is not Roberto Duran.
Hearns is mimicking him now. Hearns is laughing at him.
Hearns is making fun of Sugar Ray Leonard like Leonard made fun of Duran. There's the bell.
Hearns, calm, cool, collected, is making a chopping block of Leonard now.
The fight was one of the greatest in history.
Fought in the legendary fights with the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard.
So Sugar Ray
Tommy Hearns is the ultimate warrior. There never will ever be, there never has been a dull Tommy Hearns fight.
It's the first time we have ever seen Thomas in trouble.
At this point, the conditioning of Sugar Ray Leonard has to be a major factor. But it's a question how long a man can carry his punch, Buddy. Will he carry it into the 13th round, 12th round, 14th round?
By the end of the 12th round, Hearns had boxed his way back to a significant lead on all three judges' scorecards. Trailing on the scorecards late, Sugar Ray showed why he is one of the sport's greatest champions.
My eye was like a slit. I had no peripheral vision. Thomas had totally just ran like he had enough petrol to get you from one city to another, but not enough to go any further. And, you know, unfortunate, it was a 15-round fight, not a 12-round fight.
I think Leonard has to fight a desperate fight. Good right hand. That's way you're hurting down. There's your grip. It's trying to hold on. There's the first knockdown of the fight. His right hands of Sugar Ray Leonard must be dynamite. There was that right hand. Oh! That nailed it. And now he doesn't have enough time. Now it's minute 44. Time is running out on Tommy Hearns. Hearns is in real trouble. Hearns got a punch, which he's not doing. Oh, he's too weak. He has nothing left. He's going to be knocked out. Hearns was way ahead on points. Leonard has pulled it out in the true old-fashioned movie way.
The boxers were scared, handlers were scared. The only person that didn't appear scared of Foreman was Ali.
I'm proven as well, and I'm still the fastest, the prettiest, the most classiest, the most scientific, the greatest fighter of all time.
Everybody was scared, but Muhammad Ali himself.
Have you fought many guys who are talkers in your ring? No, I've never been a chance to talk to myself. I kind of didn't know if fellas all over. As for the fight itself, discussion centered not on who would win, but on how much punishment Foreman would dish out.
Time may have come to say goodbye to Muhammad Ali.
And now we understand that George Foreman is about to make his way through the ring.
Because very honestly, I don't think he can beat George Foreman.
Purcell was convinced that Ali is washed up.
This guy was the closest thing to a human monster I'd ever seen before. He was certainly the scariest boxer.
Look at this now as they stare. Muhammad Ali beginning to talk to George Foreman. They're really putting a stare on each other. I looked him in the eye. The stare down and said, "Oh, George, you were in school when I was beating something." Done in the past 4 years beyond 2 rounds in any fight.
He knew that the one weakness in this monster, who was thought of as unbeatable, was his stamina. The first round, all of us yelled out, "Get off the ropes." And he would just say, "Shut up, I know what I'm doing."
I would say that the round was very even for that. And Ali totally got into the guy's head.
And he didn't even realize it. It was Muhammad Ali's fertile mind that created the rope.
Here we go, round number 2 to determine Ali got off his stool in between rounds. George Foreman sat down all the way. Ali leaned on the rope. The notice of the stage body was
Starting the second or third round, when he went to the ropes, he was covering Foreman all kinds of them. Any otherness you can think of.
He fought just like your initial bump, just lay on the rope and take a whipping. This time he did it with character. He said, I'm going to weapon this guy.
The rope with those was something that was invented by Muhammad Ali that night.
I say, I don't understand those tactics, Joe. Standing on the ropes and letting him...
It just shows you the power of intellect and intelligence and how that can compete against anything.
And believe me, I was a big, powerful giant in the ring with Muhammad. I mean, a knockout on him. He stood up to me. Foreman setting it up against the rope.
George Foreman, so young, so strong.
That's supposed to do, leaning up against the rope. 4 punches downstairs, on the way.
So fearless. I had him beat. I really did. I really thought I had him beat up in the body, had him tied.
Continues to talk, continues.
Against George Foreman, who does away with his opponents one after another in less than 3 rounds.
George not going that type of business a long time. He was treading in water, never been in before. This is the furthest that George Foreman has gone in a fight since 1972. This is the right hand. Ali is definitely confusing him.
Missing the shots that he missed, it drained him.
Look at Foreman's face. He does the turn.
Nobody knew the strength of Muhammad Ali. He was manhandling just like Archie said, grabbing him, and he emptied the guy's tank. I was afraid he was going to get killed by a George Foreman that many of our young viewers don't know.
Boom, perfect timing.
I thought his body was hurt. He came back, he hit Foreman with everything, and he winked that move.
Yes, there's no doubt about it. He went right over here to this guy.
The guy really was the people's choice. And he was the people's choice because he loved them.
Yes, I hate to predict any fight, but my goodness, those people who said Foreman would win in a flash have certainly been proved wrong.
And about the 7th round, he asked me, "That all you got, George?" That was like a nightmare.
After a while, even the dumbest of us looked up there and said, you know what? He's winning.
You've been great. You've inspired us. You've entertained us. But now, please, isn't it time to go back to the old fishing hole before you seriously get hurt? 2 days after Michael Moore beat Evander Holyfield, I got a call from George. And I said, George, you can't kid me. You want to fight Michael Moore. And he said more than anything else in the world. When Michael Moore defeated Holyfield to become the new champion, George Foreman, at age 45, would get one final shot. I knew what Teddy told me, like, he's a big con. And I just look at him like, go get me a sandwich and sit down. You're so fake. Featuring the clown king of the sport, the larger-than-life George Foreman. Well, there are a lot of skeptics out there who think that George now is more King Khan than King Kong. But George hasn't earned this championship shot as a fighter. He hasn't fought in a year and a half, and on that, auspicious occasion, he lost to Tommy Morrison. With the fighter he's fighting, He's going to have to punch and try to club him and just keep feeding him. But I don't think that's going to happen. So you see no chance that George can win the fight. Very little, very little.
Foreman looked to become the oldest heavyweight champion in boxing history. But despite the optimism of the crowd, few gave Foreman more than a puncher's chance.
Middle-aged men don't knock out 25-year-old heavyweight champions. He would be the oldest to win the heavyweight title by a huge margin over Walker, who was 37, when he beat Azar
I
Charles.
always thought if the George Foreman from the Rumble in the Jungle had the brain of the George Foreman who fought Michael Moore, that's the greatest fighter ever.
Let's get ready to rumble! On the ball, right here. Take the angle. George, how are you going to find him? He hasn't fought in a long time. He moves in there. He goes at a different angle. He's a southpaw. He wouldn't stand still for Holyfield. Why would he stand still for you? And George said, you watch. Somewhere late in the fight, he's going to come standing front.
And in the press, the feeling was that Michael would be too sharp, too fast, too young. And Big George too slow and too big and too old. This colossus of heavyweight boxing. A man with a foot in several decades. With people over the last 2 or 3 months think this fight shouldn't take place. Think that George has proven himself in danger of real and serious injury.
The shadow of Ali loomed large over the career and legacy of Foreman.
The 5 races I give them, the fighters I give them, they're all ready. It's the first 5 rounds.
Michael Moore will go back to Teddy Atlas. Big George will lumber back slightly slower.
The hardest part of the fight is over.
Now they believe anymore.
Teddy Atlas telling him
Our sparring partners were better. the hardest part of the fight is over. You know what he's made of. Our sparring partners were better. We're round 8. Foreman's trailing, losing, but not out of the fight.
all you got, George.
That's a fantastic shot. Leg cross. Moore, young-footed, and sent Foreman stumbling.
George Foreman had never openly sought specific redemption for his demise against Ali and Zaire, but it's revealing that he chose to wear the same trunks on this night that he had worn in the jungle 20 years before.
George Foreman in the shorts he wore that night in Zaire to Rumble in the Jungle when he lost his world heavyweight title.
I told you! I'm the champion of the world! But he always saw the ghost of Muhammad Ali. And everybody has felt all along that you're always chasing the ghost of Ali. Does this make you catch that ghost?
I'm the greatest. You know I've been the biggest in the ring with me. That's it! It's a short right hand! There is no way he's going to knock him down!
The ghost of Ali. Does this make you catch that ghost? Yeah, I've exercised the ghost once and forever. Sure! Come to the point where we like to have you, our panel, come up with the best of the best. Select the greatest round of all time. Hot and heavy, Hearns, Hagler. Hearns. Hagler and Hearns.
Those two guys, I didn't think the fight was going to go past that 1 round.
And so the super fight between Hearns and Hagler was set. Confident Thomas Hearns would move up to the 160-pound weight class. And the long-awaited showdown was set.
Keep that belt by your bed, because it'll be the last time you see it.
Pull a little baseball cap on. War across the top. You knew, and I think Thomas Hearns knew, it was about war with Hagler. That great fight. Some of the greatest fights of all time, if not the greatest. Some people still argue the Hearns fight. By the mid-1980s, Marvelous Marvin Hagler had taken on all comers. After 11 title defenses over 5 years, he stood alone. It was no secret each man had little love for the other. This fight was everything for both of their legacies. 2 warriors of historic renown. Well, it's been voted certainly the greatest round ever, that first round when they went at each other like alley cats.
Obey my command at all times. Shake hands, good luck to both fighters.
lot of speculation coming into this fight, and they just went at it.
Nobody could take Hearns' punches.
It was later revealed Thomas Hearns broke his right hand during the first round.
And for the 8 minutes of mayhem is what it's often referred to. It's an incredible fight.
Bang! Oh, come on, man!
Bang, Bob! Oh, Hearns came hard with a right hand!
Possibly the most memorable fight in 30 years of boxing on HBO.
So is Hagler coming in with a boy? Good luck by Hagler! But Hearns didn't quit! There's blood all over Marvin Hagler's face! Can't tell where it's coming from!
Wait, they're going to war. These are two of the best middleweights ever, and they're standing in front of each other going to war.
Working at it, but Hearns uppercutting again! A tremendous rotational first round as Hearns gets hurt! Great first round! Incredible! Perhaps one of the best in middleweight history!
I mean, there's a famous quote that, again, Goody Petronelli told us. He said that when he was in the corner, Hagler said to him, "Whatever happens tonight, don't stop this fight and prepare to die in the ring."
Round two now. Oh, the left hand by Hagler.
Hearns decided to stand right in front of Hagler, and Hagler decided to stand right in front of Hearns.
As we say, though, Hagler turning it into a street fight. Oh, he turns right. He wants it to be a
They're going to
street fight.
stand toe-to-toe and see who's the bigger man. Oh, my God. Everyone's going to die.
Excuse me, Al. Hagler turns righty. I think this could be a key moment in this fight. For the first time, Hagler switching.
Crazy, right? Oh, it was amazing.
Nothing fancy. Once it starts, bullets are flying.
Here's Hearns. In trouble on the ropes. Tommy trying to punch his way off the ropes. Hagler wants to keep him there. Goes to the body. Second round coming to an end. Hagler's bloody but very much in doubt. Into round two. They said this fight would be determined on heart and the good chin. Right now, that's exactly what it's being determined on. You can throw the strategy out the window right now. Another right hand. Hearns hanging back. Takes another right. Hearns in deep trouble again. Hearns is down. Hearns is down in the third round. And on his back. He can't continue. It's Hagler stopping him in the third round. It didn't go very far, but it was a beauty.
Arguably the most action-packed 3 rounds of boxing in history. Dubbed by boxing fans as The War. R.I.P. to the marvelous one. The punching stats told a tale of utter domination. Mayweather landed 59% of his punches.
I never saw Marquez land about 2 or 3 clean punches in the entire fight.
Marquez landed only 12%.
Shutting everything down. He just became this defensive wizard.
said earlier, it's like 2 cobras squaring off. So far, it's been more like a cobra and his prey.
He is the king of serpents.
Your combination by Mayweather. Super. About the selection of Marquez as the opponent. It seems that...
The thing is this. I'm not doing the talk because you do too much talking. The thing is this.
All right, Jim.
Let me do something here.
Jim.
Okay,
Mayweather would square off against unbeaten champion Canelo Alvarez.
I've been in a lot of arenas since the 1980s for big fights. Few have been as electric as this one.
Watch him fight. That guy is defensively spectacular.
Yeah.
And when you watch him stand in front of Canelo, Canelo throws a left, he's over here, he throws a right, he's over here. Pop!
If you could have a superpower, what would it be?
I think it's almost a Nightcrawler. Like, you know, he's just teleporting around.
Nightcrawler from X-Men.
Yeah, that's what
This dude picks you apart.
he just like shows up suddenly right next to you. He disappears and shows up right next to you.
And by the way, he must have some kind of power. Because no one walks through him to get him. it is that he's doing, he embarrasses dude.
Mayweather remains money in Las Vegas. In favor of the winner of the Super Welterweight Championship of the World, Floyd Mayweather.
After 12 rounds, Floyd was the obvious victor. Mayweather grossed a record $40 million for the fight.
All the press is there and there. Joe, you're the champion was. Not yet. That's why I beat that man. He didn't even have to say his name.
That man was Max Schmeling. Joe refused to call himself a champion until he avenged his only defeat.
Joe Louis defends his World Heavyweight Championship against former title holder Max Schmeling, the only man who has ever defeated the champion.
Louis secluded himself into training. He knew, as did everyone else, that this fight was the most important of his life. Viewed as a battle of nations, politics, ideas. Boxing is war individualized. Pitting man against man.
The heavyweight championship, its meaning was transcending pure supremacy in the ring. Its meaning was really that of a world beater.
German troops marched into Austria for what the Germans called the reunification of the two countries.
Everybody recognized what Schmeling represented. The stage is set for their historic rematch.
The match had become more than sport. War was coming.
On the verge of World War II, with Hitler, a madman, trying to create a master race, take over the world. I mean, the whole world's watching. You talk about pressure. That's why Louis is the greatest.
Yankee Stadium, New York City.
If he didn't win this world title fight against Max Schmeling, he was ruined.
And it's in Yankee Stadium outdoors. I mean, you talk about a setting, a stage.
The eyes of the world would watch the clash. The gate was the biggest ever for a boxing match.
The whole freaking world's watching. The President of the United States, it calls up Louis and says, you gotta win this for the good guys. I mean, you talk about pressure.
A black fighter carried the hopes of the free world. The largest audience in the history for a single radio broadcast tuned in.
U.S. against Germany, a black guy against a white guy. You couldn't draw more divisive lines at those times.
It was a watershed moment that transcended sport.
That he's got to save basically the United States and the world from scourge and disease of the Nazi party.
For one night, Joe Louis had united the free world under a single cause.
Crushing right explodes on Schmeling's jaw. Joe steps back.
And Schmeling was in fear right from the beginning. He realized that this is something else, a different kind of cat. How does he respond to it? He destroys him, he annihilates him. He knocks him out in one round. That to me is one of the best stories of a heavyweight fight.
Schmeling fell victim to the Brown Bombers blitzkrieg.
It doesn't look like Schmeling's gonna make it. It's all over. Joe Louis electrifies the boxing world with its magnificent first-round devastating knockout over
Louis's victory electrified the country.
And Joe Louis and Benny Leonard, they were fighters. They let people know they had value, that their race had value, their people had value. They had value. They pulled people out of those places. I think that's the greatest single event in the history of the world.
He began his historic run of 25 straight title defenses, 22 by way of knockout.
For 25 years, he had it all. But this is to be the last time he will walk down the aisle to get into the ring in boxing trunks and robe. More than the greatest boxer of all time, he was the idol whose every move, in and out of the ring, showed what black pride really meant.
Smoking right hand landed by Sugar Ray Robinson.
Ray Robinson becomes the new welterweight champion of the world. To date, Sugar Ray has had 112 professional fights. He has won 111.
Well, there it is. One of the greatest fighters of all time, likely the greatest fighter of all time, and one of the greatest punchers of all time.
And I believe that I was blessed with a talent. But the talent that I had for fighting was not of my own. I believe it was a God-given talent.
Pound for pound, the best boxer ever to enter the ring.
The International Boxing Club has finally put together the match that the American public has been seeing through its crystal ball for many years. A so-called dream match. But in his sadness, he might reflect that he was beaten by a man who has lost only twice in 136 fights in a brilliant career, called by many over and over again the finest fighting machine of our time, pound for pound, Sugar Ray Robinson, middleweight champion of the world.
Boxers tend to be reluctant to stop.
It is my time. This is one time. And still champion by tomorrow night. Manny Pacquiao ain't doing nothing to me, baby.
Keith Thurman talking about, crucify him and stuff like that, and he just don't say that.
I mean, I know he likes to quote Bible verses, so I'll let you know he's getting crucified. And he said certain things like, I'm going to send Manny Pacquiao to retirement. I'm going to knock Manny Pacquiao out. I'm going to crucify Manny Pacquiao. Oh, his family felt it. Oh, when I said I'm going to crucify the man, ooh, they said, ooh. It's almost as if they had a crown of thorns on them themselves. They felt it. Please welcome the longest current reigning welterweight champion, the hard-hitting, acclaimed, and undefeated WBA welterweight champion of the world, introducing Keith One-Time Thurman.
Thurman vowed to retire the Pac-Man, to destroy his legacy.
Nowhere is anticipation for the big fight higher than Pacquiao's own hometown and home country of the Philippines.
Look at the punches landed, 10 by Thurman so far, Pacquiao at 6.
It didn't take long for Manny to remind Thurman who he was.
And let me tell you, that was just a quick punch. I would love to be the man that destroys Manny Pacquiao.
His legacy is often compared to the greatest, Muhammad Ali.
And here we see the Ali Shuffle.
Both men used their incredible gifts to build up and give hope to those who felt hopeless. For them, every time Manny steps into the ring, it means more roads, hospitals, parks, schools.
A professional career that began in January of 1995 when Keith Thurman
24th year as a professional. He's 40 years old. What did we witness tonight, again against the guy who was previously undefeated?
In the literal fight of his life, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao is undefeated. While it was his iron will that made him famous, it is his heart that makes him legend.
Good right uppercut by Manny. Oh, great right hand by Thurman. Time winding down here in round 7.
See what Pacquiao's doing right now? He's giving him different angles.
Seeing him beat Keith Thurman at 40 years old, like, damn, this guy's great.
Pacquiao defeated Thurman to become the oldest welterweight champion in boxing history.
In favor of the winner, boxing's pride of the Philippines, the ageless wonder, the one and only current WBA welterweight champion of the world, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao!
Okay, do you think one day you might be president? It's hard to have a comment right now because it's that far away.
Nobody brings it home like you. Nobody.
Make it so.